Space, the final frontier. Space Station Ashland sits on the edge of Federation space with its companion ship, the USS Dilamus Christian. The space around them is full of mystery and strange wonders, where secrets are kept and danger lurks around every corner. The crew of the Dilamus Christian must navigate treacherous waters as they work to protect the Federation. But as they peer into the unknown, they will discover that the line between friend and foe is not always clear. They will be tested like never before and will face challenges that will push them to their limits. Join us on this adventure as we explore the farthest reaches of space and uncover the hidden truths that lie within the shadows. Tabletop Journeys presents Star Trek: Preservations.
Welcome, travelers. My name is Lewanika, and this is Star Trek Preservations Quick Treks. I am here with one of our cast members on a personal adventure / mission, a one-on-one with the game master, as we like to do here every now and then. It's a fun way for us to hone in on some of the smaller but very important stories for each of our characters. And quite honestly, we love to throw dice. We love to have fun here, so that's why we're here. And at this point, I will turn the mic over to that very cast member.
Hey everybody, I'm Lacey Knudsen, and I'm here again with Nerila Neelan, our science officer on board the Dilamus Christian, and I'm very excited to get some total me in the spotlight, which is where I'm always very comfortable.
That's what we aim for. We want comfort for everyone at all times. No shenanigans here, just comfort. On a serious note, looking forward to this. I love Quick Treks because of how we get to just really do those personal stories and some things. And there is a bit of a surprise that I have not yet revealed to Lacey. Without any further ado, I'm going to let Lacey open up the episode with her science officer's log.
Stardate
59677.7397.
Entering the rogue system GR1292. Initial scans show anomalies beyond expectations. 4 worlds, each holding mysteries worthy of months of study. I welcome the chance to explore, but I suspect this journey may reveal more than science alone can measure.
Excellent. As we open, Lieutenant Neelan, you will be in one of the Dilamus Christian shuttles of your choice. They are all open because, except for the Tank Abbott. The Tank Abbott is not available for this mission. Your captain used that for his mission. Is there any specific shuttle that you would like to take on this science endeavor? There are 2, the Eagle and the Kitty Hawk, which both have high-resolution sensors. Eagle is the one that is typically used, but they're both available.
I will take the Eagle.
All right, sounds good. You will have one of the ship's shuttle pilots, Petty Officer Krim Mabrin, and Krim is a Bajoran, well known for his dogfighting skills, actually.
You say dogfighting?
Oh, yeah. He's a Bajoran. He likes the action. And Krim is a petty officer 3rd class. As you're loading up for the mission and your equipment is being put on, I should ask, is there any specific or special equipment you would like to have, or is there anything you'd like to do? Perhaps create a trait to assist you with this process at all?
So what I know going into this is there's anomalies. Can I create this is like totally off the wall, but like a sensor augmentation travel kit?
Sure, absolutely. Creating a trait like that would be a two difficulty, no extra complication because you've got plenty of time to set this up. Your character had seen, science reports from the sector about this anomaly, this set of anomalies, this system, and it intrigued you. So you had plenty of time to go through the information and put together stuff that's going to help you in your research.
Okay. How much threat is there? There's no momentum, correct?
Correct. There's no momentum, and there is two threat to begin the mission.
All right. I'm gonna buy a die with threats.
Alrighty. I like it.
I'd like to use bold science because I am trying to go outside of the normal with my design.
Okay.
I'm gonna re-roll a single D20 because of that.
Excellent.
And that is a much better roll. So I re-rolled a 19 and I rolled it into a 9, which is a much better roll.
Yes.
I got 3 successes.
All
11.
right. So with three successes, that provides you with a one momentum. And you have your trait. So you said it was going to be
A sensor augmentation travel kit.
got it.
So essentially, hopefully we'll have what I need to make changes on the fly that I don't exactly know what. I'm kind of throwing a bunch of things together in the hopes of being able to make the changes I need to get better data.
As you are packing, you've got your kit together. It's a really good prototype kit. You're very proud of it. And as you're stowing it away, it's not perfect. Like it doesn't have all the beautiful casing. It looks a little bare bones at this point, but it's functional and it's sturdy, so it will work. It's not like something that'll fail unless somebody does something to it. That said, as you are putting that away and you're on the shuttle, you're just about ready. The through the open hatch, Thenev steps on board with a Starfleet duffel and just opens up like an overhead compartment and puts her duffel up there. And she looks at you and she says, "That looks slapped together, Rilla."
I wouldn't say slap together, which is clearly not the entire truth that is coming out of my mouth. I wouldn't say slap together, but perhaps a broad spectrum of what I could need.
Oh, sounds good. Looking at the mission request, it dawned on me that you would probably need some security protection on this one. I was assigned.
Thank you.
Think nothing of it. It's my job after all. Mission commander. I guess I'll take my seat. She sits down at one of the side stations. This shuttle is one of the larger ones. Obviously, it's a runabout, but it's got two primary seats, one for the mission commander and then one for the pilot, and then a side station for tactical and another side station that can be used for anything, whether it be engineering, science, or whatever needs to be done, where you're the science officer and the mission commander, you've all got that in your seat. Flight control sends on the comms, Lieutenant. You're clear for landing on your mark.
All right, let's go.
You exit the Dilamus Christian, you get to the minimum safe distance. Your pilot says that the coordinates are plotted. We'll go to warp on your signal, Captain.
I get the sense of they're trying to make me feel uncomfortable, and it's working a little bit.
So the petty officer is not.
Yeah.
Thenev absolutely is.
Yeah, yeah.
You can hear like the three-quarter snicker under her breath as the term captain is used in this situation.
Yeah, I will roll my eyes and then and give the go ahead. Roll my
Did
eyes. Very tiny little.
excellent. Do you have a go to war tagline that you would like to use?
I need to think on that. I'm
Okay,
still a baby warp goer.
no worries. You give a subtle nod, your pilot shrugs his shoulders and takes you to warp. You are about 2 or 3 days, and this is some time to do some work on one of our ongoing investigations, specifically related to subspace transmutation. The idea being that your character was researching how to potentially reverse species that have been transformed by the subspace weapon or subspace effects that species Epsilon has caused, and or inoculate or prevent those mutations from happening in the first place. You have a lot of base information and a few specific details that came from your last mission, One Small Step. For those listening, feel free to go back. It's our last full episode before this most recent group of quick tracks, but love to have everybody listen to that as well. So with that information, you have the ability to make a roll. Your difficulty on this is 3. Typically, this extended task would have a resistance of 2. However, you have a talent that prevents you from having to worry about resistance. If you want to let the audience know what that is.
So that is the talent intense scrutiny. And so I have a science of 3 plus, which is the requirement. And whenever I succeed at a task using reason or control, as part of an extended task, I can ignore any resistance, which I feel is super helpful in this particular campaign.
Absolutely. So while on board the Kitty Hawk, you would have the ability, as long as you have at least one success, to have the Kitty Hawk itself assist. Additionally, either of the two other characters can assist if you'd like, and if you'd really like both of them to assist, though that would increase complication range, you could always have two assist if need be.
So I need 3 and
There are 3 threat, 1 momentum currently, and you need 3 successes.
okay. I feel like any I feel like naturally this sort of extended task, this particular one, has a bit of a bold science like air to it.
It does, but if you use bold, you don't get to skip the resistance.
Oh, because I have to use reason.
Reason or control versus using daring.
Right. Okay. So I guess I will buy a die with momentum
Done?
and I'd like the ship to assist.
Okay.
And I think that I will have the petty officer assist too.
Okay. Now, your petty officer isn't the best at science, but Thenev does have have her chance remembering that she does that science investigation thing.
I suppose that I could accept her help, but it will be on my terms. I will very much direct what I need help with.
Sounds good. All right. And if you would like to go ahead and make your roll.
I rolled 3 6s, which is something. It is
It's
successful.
scary, but it's 3 successes, so there's that.
I sometimes feel like this game brings out the weirdest rolls for me, where I have some games where they bring out the worst rolls for me and some games where it rolls the best, but this game is just weird stuff.
This is true. So I have to check. The Eagle will use computers and science. So it has a 9. It rolls a 4. So you get a success there. So that's 4 total. And Thenev, she will use reason science. And she also succeeds for 5. So you have 5 successes out of 3, which gives you 2 momentum. You do not have resistance, and your science is a 5, is that correct? Or 4?
It is a 4.
Okay. So you tick off 4 boxes. If you would like, you can spend 2 momentum to do extra work. We would be losing 1 momentum at the end of this scene, which we're about to do once we go into this. So that is your choice. But it would take 2, which would leave you no momentum beginning the next scene.
That's okay. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Okay. So you're gonna keep the 2 and roll into the next scene with 4 off the work track of 20, correct?
Y-
Or
Yeah,
did you want to spend the 2?
I wanted to spend the 2. Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to go in with 1/4 of the work done. You've got 5 out of the way. All right. So your work basically was more organizing a plan of attack. You're not at a breakthrough yet, but you are halfway to the breakthrough. So you have a good way of basically you have a working hypothesis at this point that will get you to the point where you can determine what's going on. Remembering the 50% breakthrough amount will let you know if it can be reversed and or stopped. The 75% breakthrough point is where you will get a little more information about what that'll let you know whether or not it can be reversed. So the stopping part is 50. You'll know yes or no whether it can be done. And then as far as reversal, that comes at the 75% mark. At 10, you'll know if it can be stopped. And at 75, you would know if it can be reversed.
Okay.
And then the 100% mark would be if it can, like what the details of potential reversals could be.
Okay.
You have reached the system GR1292 itself. And what you've noticed, and I'll give you some basic information about the system, and then you can let me know what you would like to do with the basic information. The system itself is a rogue planetary system. So there is like a deficient or dead star, so to speak, that's holding it together, but it's basically just rolling through the galaxy. It's not connected to anything. So there are 4 planets that are completely in the dark. There are a number of weird sensor readings and things like that. Like it's just a weird environment in general. The anomalies that you're talking about, you're now seeing them up close, but there are four planetary bodies in this system. And what would you like to do?
I'd like to know, so I'm getting weird sensor readings. Are they coming from a specific space or are they coming from all over?
So the system in general is providing some of there seems to be like a blanket effect that's coming from this deficient star where it is it itself is not a singularity of any kind, but its mass it has gone somewhat inert, so it hasn't done the normal things. It hasn't exploded into a pulsar. It hasn't condensed to a white dwarf. It hasn't become a singularity. It just hasn't done things. It's almost like maybe it didn't even quite fire off quite correctly to begin with. But whatever it is, it's basically this ultra dense, ultra heavy thing in the center of this system that has these 4 rogue bodies that are locked to it, and this just moves about the galaxy. So it is weird in that respect. It's not the only rogue system that's ever been encountered, but it is a bit unique among them, and it is a very interesting kind of point of study. A couple things to note, there are no specific beacons, there's no specific tracking or tracing Federation tracking or tracing technology anywhere in the system. So there is a lot of scientific merit to gathering data about the system in general because it is so relatively unique. But the readings themselves are require a lot of filtering to be able to know what's actually happening. There were a couple minor readings for shielding, but Thenev pretty much instantaneously started making some shield adjustments to compensate for that so that none of you are negatively impacted.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that it's very altogether very like a bizarre si and rare situation. And the sensor readings are something that I wouldn't expect even from a rogue galaxy, which is a rogue system, even with them being fairly rare.
Yes, this is not like any you've actually ever studied or heard of before. It would be impossible to say if it's totally unique because who knows how many systems there are that have been discussed or discovered, but you've never come across anything like this, and it's never been in any of your studies that you recollect. You could certainly ask Thenev to see what her opinion is on that and whether she's ever come across anything like this, but the database that's available to you on board this ship does not record anything like it.
Okay. Does it seem like the sensors are taking in a dangerously high amount of readings in a way that could damage my sensors?
Not at this point. It's more like they are struggling to comprehend what's there. So it's not like it's at risk. It's just that it's not able to factor everything. So basically it's kind of like looking through a spyglass at a fog bank. So you can tell where the planets are, and you
Mm.
can tell where the center of the system is, the deficient stellar body. But what you can't do is see anything else. Like it doesn't pick up other things.
Okay.
The system is effectively like a giant cloaking field.
Okay. I will ask if the Nev has seen anything like this before.
Honestly, a lot of my scientific work or work with science stations dealt with biological issues or medical issues. A few projects that I've vaguely been involved with had to deal with stellar exploration, but generally speaking, there's not a lot of ethical dilemmas with stellar exploration, so I wasn't usually called in for those unless there was an investigation of malfeasance on the part of a given scientist or something. So I don't have any information on it.
I'll glance at Petty Officer Mabrin, who I assume is listening. I imagine he
Yep.
doesn't, he's never, I imagine he will. I'll look at him to see if he has anything to input
Yeah,
with
he
no
says,
expectations.
yeah, well, Captain, I've never seen anything like this before, but man, this would be really dangerous to pilot through. Like our deflector shields will work for normal deflector shield things, but if there are any rogue, if there are any asteroids or anything relatively ship-sized, we would never see them based on what we have right here. Our sensors aren't picking up that. We're picking up the planets because they're large enough to have create their own the planetary bodies because they're large enough to create gravity. So we're picking up things that are large enough to create large gravity things. We're not actually seeing the planets, we're seeing the wake of the planets, which means anything smaller than that would be flying blind. I'd recommend we raise at least minimal shields and send out some kind of warrant sensor buoy so we can just maybe even a worker be directly ahead of the ship or something while we're at slower speeds so we can make sure that we don't hit something.
That is a good idea and good insight. Thank you.
Absolutely, I'll launch now. Your shuttle has one worker bee. He actually brings the ship to a full stop, and he goes to the rear compartment and says, I'll get it ready to go. It'll take me about 20 minutes unless you want me to put a rush on it.
I would rather you do it right than to put anything at risk by doing it fast.
Absolutely, Captain. So he goes back to get that ready to go.
Right.
Thenev says, just looks at you and says, so while we're sitting here in the quiet, anything you want to ask me?
I hate that so much. And I don't, and I'm trying to recall my previous interactions.
So it was left okay. Like you got along, you got through the mission, and there was an agreement to kind of
Put it aside for
set it
then.
aside, but eventually handle it.
Right.
This mission here comes up fairly close after that, so you've not had a chance to handle it. So
Okay.
that's literally the conversation she's bringing up.
Okay. And just to be super clear, this is all about our weird past and falling out.
Yes,
I'm just pulling bits and pieces to make sure that I'm. So she asked if there's anything I wanted to
her.
ask her. I think that things did not end in a way that was comfortable, and I'm still unsure on why you would do that to me.
I was frustrated. I honestly was frustrated that my parents cared more about what you were doing than what I was doing. It was less about you than it was me. But as I pulled away from my parents, they started calling you regularly, seeing how things were going. So I gave up trying to get their attention. But it seems to me like you've always had it.
I thought that you and I had a better relationship than to just drop it because you're feeling, and I'll pause trying to think of the right words because I feel myself like spiraling a little bit. I understand it's hard when your parents didn't give you the attention you deserved, but I thought we were friends.
We were. We are. I was angry. I was frustrated. And I found myself starting to take it out on you. And you didn't deserve that. So I left. But
There's definitely confliction on my face of like part angry and part like relieved to be getting some closure after all this time.
I just find myself really angry at myself for taking this long. I pulled a lot of strings to get this assignment because it was a shot to make some things right. And I'm really sorry that I made things a bit challenging and difficult when I first got here. Some of the old frustrations came back, and I started doing it again. I actually have been seeing a counselor and trying to work through some of this. So I've been doing a bad job, but not making excuses. New job. This is not the most boring ship in the fleet, mind you. Yeah, I'm trying to do better.
I'm glad that you are trying, and I'm glad that you came here, even if it has been rocky. I'm still hurt, but that doesn't mean that I can't forgive.
It's good enough. I'll take it. What kind of science we gonna do? And when we get back, I brought a little stock of fresh Lelora berries from Beta Z for you. It was going to be a birthday present, but I missed that being a little angry. So I apologize, but I didn't eat it all in frustration. It's still nice and fresh and saved for you.
I'll laugh. That's the quicker way to forgiveness, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah. It's not chocolate ice cream for me, but I know you like the berries. About 20 minutes has passed. The worker bee is launched. The petty officer comes back and he doesn't say anything. He just looks around and takes his seat. And
That's
he
probably
says,
for the
okay.
best.
Yep. And so with this one, if you would care to do your sensor thing, linking up the worker bee sensors with the ship, and the pilot will assist you.
Okay.
Yep. Difficulties two. There is an extended complication range because I'm spending some threat. So 19 and 20.
And
And
you
you
said
have no momentum at this point.
momentum, and does that put us at two threat or
Yep. Two threat.
okay? I'm gonna use a threat.
All right. Back to three.
Just gotta live a little or
Sure
something.
do.
Do you say 19 and 20?
I did say 19 and 20.
Huh, I got 18. I got 5 and 2, so 2 successes. I was like a little worried you were gonna say 18, 19, and 20, and I was like, how do I get out of this?
All right. The ship would be using sensors con, so it needs a 10. It rolls a 6, so that's a third success. And Petty Officer rolls. Oh, that's a 19.
I mean, I should
Uh,
know.
you say again?
I should have saw it coming though.
It's okay. Did you wish to do anything with that information? I'll tell you what the complication is, and you let me know if that's something you want to handle. Basically, you're able to get it connected, and it is a working system, so you're not going to run into anything. But the timing is going to be very short. So if you are close to something, it would, as opposed to just having plenty of time to maneuver out, there's actually going to be a roll to have to do it because you will know, but you will know with very limited time to react.
So really the tools I have to handle that are
I should actually say you can actually, your trait would have given you one momentum because you did create the augmented sensor kit, which you would have, right? So your roll would have given you because you had one success and a complication, so that would give you two. You could spend the 2 momentum you have to eliminate that difficulty. Basically, the augmented kit and the momentum you've had will eliminate that difficulty, but it leaves you with no momentum.
I think it's probably best to do that though.
Okay.
I'll potentially wreck the ship in space.
Yeah, that can be problematic at times.
All right.
All right. So with that, you have your sensor set up so you're able to see things in advance with enough time to be able to miss any threats. And at this point in time, you basically have various magnetic fields from the planetary bodies that are operating. So you can do a scan of the planets to find out what's on each of the planets and figure out what you might need to do. The difficulty here is two, and then you will get details on the system that you may need to carry other investigations forward.
Is this a part of the work track or is this a separate role?
So the whole, at this point, this is a separate role from the work track. The whole mission, and I didn't mention this on air, but the whole mission is effectively working towards your goal. So at the conclusion of the mission, we'll equate that to a at least one role, if not two roles on that season-long extended task.
So this is a difficulty two, you said?
Yep.
And it is to determine what information we're able to glean from the planets.
From the system. Basically, you're doing a system-wide scan to know what each of the planets have going on, that type of thing. Your intense scrutiny will allow you to re-roll any 1d20 if you are using control or reason.
Okay. So let us do a reason science.
Okay.
And I have no momentum. Is this something that I can be helped with?
Absolutely. The ship will help and Thenev will also assist.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll two dice then and just hope that together.
Sounds good.
That is two successes. I rolled a 12 and a 7.
Excellent. The ship again with sensors and in this case science, so 8. 8 on the dot. That's another success for 3. And Thenev rolls a 10 for a success as well. So you've got 2 successes from your assists. With your 2 successes, that's 4 successes, correct?
Yes.
All right, that's 2 momentum. I'll give you the base information on the system. There are 4 planetary bodies. The first one is Aestrope, and it is a barren, rocky desert world, jagged silica formations, produces resonant electromagnetic fields. These fields interfere with long-range sensors. That's why you had to do the other thing to be able to check out the entire system. The second planetary body, it is a methane-shrouded ice giant with towering crystalline glaciers. The chemical signatures suggest unusual viral preservation conditions.
Meaning
And
that there
yeah,
could be, it is possible or maybe even likely that there are viruses preserved in this ice giant planet.
correct. I would also say the names that are being shown, the second one is Daylon, are AI, are your computer system's AI generation, basically. You, as basically the person discovering, can change any name you want at a later point, or you can go with what the system comes up with. And the third one is Naaria, and this is a turbulent ocean world with bioluminescent plankton clouds. that shift with the tidal current. So as your scans are showing this planet, you can see the clouds glowing and going around with the tides and with the currents and such. And the last system is a volcanic super planet with very unstable tectonics, very rich mineral veins. It is geologically volatile and fairly dangerous as far as anything on the surface. And that is the planet that the system has deemed Karath.
I like that that note. Its geologic volatility makes it dangerous. These all seem pretty dangerous planets.
Yeah, try to make it interesting.
Okay.
All right. And so with that, you have the system in front of you. What would you like to do?
So my overall goal is to figure out if something hit with a super weapon can be stopped from or even reversed.
Correct.
And I have to use these four clues to figure it out. Okay. So I guess the first thing that stands out to me is these viral preservation conditions. I think that there might be something with the abnormal or unusual preservation that could be useful in seeing how. I don't necessarily know though if I want to get in close contact with a planet filled with viruses.
So the beauty is you can do all your scans and your research without being on the planet for the most part. You may find that you may have to get samples, and in which case you have all the technology in the world, as long as it functions,
Yeah.
to safely get material on board the ship. I should also add that your scans do not show life from the distance you're scanning from, other than the bioluminescent things and viruses, which are technically life.
Okay. So let's do a more in-depth scan of the of Dalon, which is the viral preservation planet.
Sure. As you go to do an in-depth scan, the difficulty here would be a 4. However, with your augmentation kit, that will drop that to a 3. And yeah, and no additional complication at this stage.
At this stage.
Yep.
All right. I think that I'm going to, and this is something I can be helped with the ship and with Thenev as well.
Yes.
Okay. I do think I'm going to use a, do I have momentum?
You have 2 momentum.
I'm going to use a momentum to buy a die.
You got it.
And I'd like to roll a science reason.
Sounds good.
Okay. It's not the best roll I've ever rolled, but it's so I got two successes, two barely successes, but success is success, and I rolled a 20.
Ooh, fun.
But wait,
Yep.
can I use a determination to make a one die an auto crit? Can I do that after?
You could, but here's the thing. Actually, you have to do that beforehand, but you wouldn't need to because remember, you used reason, so you have intense scrutiny, which I believe happens anytime you're doing that, correct?
Yes.
So you can re-roll one of those die.
Okay, I would like to re-roll the 20.
Yep. Yeah, you basically have the ability to re-roll based on doing bold or based on doing intense scrutiny. You have a choice which one you would use. But intense scrutiny allows you to bypass
Yeah.
bypass resistance in an extended task situation.
Okay. So that's a much better roll. That's a 9.
All right, so
So,
you have 3 successes then.
yes.
The ship
My
does not
normal
help,
roll, but
and Thenev also does not help. They rolled poopy, 12 and 16 respectively. That said, you have 3 successes. That gives you 1 momentum back. No, I'm sorry. That is exactly what you needed, rather. You are able to scan and successfully tell that you're able to get the details that make this particular ice able to, and the chemical signature of the water here, which has to do with its mineral content and the fact that it has basically been irradiated to some extent based on the pulsing electromagnetic nature of the other planet. Dalon and Aestrope are the 2 closest planets, right? And so as those resonant electromagnetic fields, basically it amplifies and sends energy towards this planet, which has created this situation. In a similar way to what you've been recognizing has been going on with subspace radiation. It's basically altering the chemical compositions and internal composition of the things it comes in contact to over time. Based on your other knowledges and your other successes, you're pretty confident that if you can purify samples of this ice, you should be able to get that replicated in a way to basically house whatever biosignatures you need to develop the rest of your process for your big event. That is going to successfully knock off 4 on your work track.
woo!
You are now at 12 on the work track, not quite to your, or it would get you to that 50% point. Based on this and the fact that what you've seen, you are 100% confident that you can prevent mutations from the subspace weapon. The next thing is going to be to find out if it can be reversed.
Which is
You
very
are
important.
at that point. There are no alterations to the roles on the breakthrough, but you now have definition to the fact that yes, it can be done. You can prevent this from happening. So you will be able to, whether you finish the rest of it or not, you would be able to synthesize a process to basically inoculate any citizen anywhere from this weapon.
That is a huge breakthrough. But
Absolutely.
more.
Right about that time, Thenev sounds off and says, I've just detected a ship coming out of warp heading towards Kareth.
What?
And she brings it up on screen, and there is a small a small ship. I'm trying to get, let me bring it up here. It is roughly your size.
Okay.
So it's class 2. It is darker gray. It does not look like it belongs to any particular polity. It is very sleek, and it just came out of warp in the system very close to Kareth, and it seems to be just headed towards that world. What would you like to do?
Does it even look evil? I'm sorry.
That is a fantastic question. Does it look evil? As I said, so it's got more like a diamond shaped head. Its hull plating looks put together. Nothing about it looks like any particular polity other than the hull plating looks similar to Klingon designs, but its color scheme is absolutely not Klingon in nature, and it doesn't look like it maintains Klingon. It doesn't look like a Klingon ship in any way. I will send you a visual on via Facebook so you can kind of look. You can tell me whether you think that looks evil or not.
Uh-huh. But it does seem like they knew exactly where they're going, right?
Oh yeah,
It does look
they're
evil.
and they're just moving right into where they're going. Like they don't seem to be guessing.
Right. Okay. Do they seem... No, that's a dumb question. I was gonna say, do they seem, are they like they're going straight for it? Are they going fast like they need to, like they are almost in a rush? Maybe. I
They're
don't
going
know.
about half impulse speed once they hit the system. That's the standard cruising and system cruising speed as you're crossing, going to a place. At, but at this moment, there's nothing that seems unusual about their approach, other than they do not seem to be worried about what would hit.
So maybe they're familiar with this space, this part of space. Okay. I want to observe them, but I want to do it a little bit from a distance so they're not like I assume that they don't seem to have seen me because they're going straight for the planet. But they probably have sensors on their ship.
That
They
is
could
a
easily
theory.
find me.
That is a theory that you have. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I definitely don't want to go in and confront a strange ship in a weird, strange system that is throwing me off completely. And they're going for the dangerous one too, the extra dangerous one.
Yep.
Okay. And then you said there's like nothing, no other like really anything around this spa part of space, right?
Nope. This is a rogue system rolling through the sector. In like that space between systems, it's just moving through over time. It kind of
Okay. I think we just have to, we have two options really, is to watch or get as much information as we can before we get out of here. I don't think that there's a good option to interact with this strange ship in this place that we are in.
okay. So you wish to have it observed. You can see it normally right now. There's no roll to do that. However, as it's go moving towards the system, it does slow to approach speed, like it's going to the planet. And but as it's doing so, it's now moving around, so it will leave your line of sight as far as its approach vector to the planet. So you would have to move after it to continue to observe it.
I'm very conflicted. I just want you to know that I'm very conflicted right now. This is why I do better in a group. We can group think things.
You do have a tactical officer. You could always ask for her opinion.
I will. I will lay out my thoughts on this, emphasizing that I don't think it's the right decision to get into a confrontation with this strange, evil-looking ship.
Yeah. Then I will say, I've never seen a ship like it. And she will then look at the petty officer. Anything that you can tell me about that ship that would work? She says, and then she looks back at you and she says, it would not be a good idea to lose sight of it.
Mm.
And if we maintain current distance, that would be the best thing. If we lose sight of it while we're here, unless it goes to warp and leaves, we could have a problem because we wouldn't know where it is.
Okay, so let's follow it.
Okay.
Keep an eye.
In order to follow and not be seen, your pilot will actually roll. Would you care to assist?
Yes, I would.
So he's going to roll for 2, and he will be using control and con, giving him a 12. As he comes around, and there is a shield deflection of some external objects that bounce off the shielding that he dodged at the last second. He did not succeed on either. He rolled a 20 and a 15, so nobody can assist him. He botches the roll. Sorry, Captain. He had a complication. Basically, he created some lens flares. At this point, the ship comes to an abrupt reverse course. It is very clear to everyone without needing any roll that this is a extremely agile craft, and two, very fast. It basically reverses course and accelerates to three-quarter impulse and is basically face to face with you in almost no time at all. Thenev's hand is over the shields button, and she says, awaiting orders, Captain. You are hailed.